Sometimes it's the idea that nobody has that grows into what people have to adapt to. Sometimes you might be the person who gives us our new adaptability. Think about that for a sec. For me to be the same as I was before would be an absolute disgrace to all the things that I've been through. And that is the truth. Don't go through life and don't go through all these hard things and don't be a child and don't do all these things to then go into adulthood and not be able to adapt. You're not giving yourself the most crucial thing to survive, and that is to adapt. Hi, I'm Walker. Welcome to Walker Wisdom, the home and main channel of the Walker Wisdom Show. Adaptability. Adapt or die. Very powerful, very informative, and something that has to happen. Adaptability. Once again, obviously, the only thing I'm going to talk about are things that are important for someone to know. It's Walker Wisdom. Not Walker just says random things. Now, I may here and there. But it's an ever-changing world. So how dare you stay the same? And that is the point of this video. As adulthood comes up, obviously, I'm going to see more change. You're going to see more change. As new opportunities come up, you're going to see more change. As events pop up, you're going to see more change. But as the world grows, you will also see more change. Think about it. If you don't adapt, you will die. Now, maybe not die figuratively. I mean, you may. Maybe not physically. I mean, you may. Or maybe not literally. You may. And you may be dying mentally. Because now we're in an ever-changing world that no longer cares about keeping your job. Your job might be outran by some AI computer with no consciousness that doesn't have to sleep, doesn't have to eat, doesn't have to pee, doesn't have to take a break, doesn't need to see his family. Doesn't need any of that. You're in an ever-changing world. And if you don't adapt, you will be left behind. And that is the sad truth. Adapt or die. Anybody who's ever walked up a mountain, if you've ever been on an airplane, or anybody knows if you're swimming. Point is, natural adaptability is when you start climbing up this mountain, you'll notice that the air pressure starts to weigh on you. And your body has to slowly but surely adapt. If it didn't, what would you be doing? You'd be on the floor crying, you'd be... And you may have that. You may have those little inconsistency because your body is adjusting. Well, I'm talking about change in general. The world is ever changing. You are ever changing. And if you don't adapt, the truth is you will be left behind. Your parents aren't going to look down at you as their child and see that you're acting like a man-child or a baby at 30 years old still in their house. Okay, if you're helping out and you're being a man and you're being someone who's worthwhile and gives dedication towards the family and contributes, then maybe then it's okay. Because then you're working like them Oriental families where they're working together. That's not the point. The point being is if you're the person who isn't that. If you're the person who doesn't change, still thinks that they can be a child in an adult world. I only come up with this because I forced myself to turn into an adult. I made an adult out of a man. And that's when I realized I was starting to mature way faster than people who were at my age. Obviously, those people who mature faster than me. And on top of that, there's going to be people who are going to look at me and say, he's very immature. Of course. I'm still the type of dude to go in a restaurant and give my name as Hugh Janus as the name on the order, okay? Because life's got to be fun, and because I got to live it. Point being is, of course I'm going to have fun. Of course there's going to be things that I do immaturely. I'm not Mr. Perfect. Neither are you. But my point is you have to change. You have to adapt. If you do not adapt, you will die. Information is a powerful thing, right? Information is passed down, and that's another video for another day. But generation by generation, we become smarter and smarter and smarter. If we do not adapt, if we don't find something that we adapt to, where will we go? Adaptability is crucial for your survival. Not just for survival, but in general. Adaptability has to happen. If you don't adapt your business into marketing the right strategies, it will die. Right? If the world's moving on to AI and you're still dealing with dial-up computers and dial-up phones and this and that, you will die. Your business doesn't stick out. Like the last video, you have to have attention. Meanwhile, also using that attention to adapt it with whatever the modern world is accepting at that time. Now, by the way, the world doesn't accept everything. That's the sad truth. Sometimes we just throw things out because it's old news, because it's no longer a trend. Okay? It's not about hopping on the trend, guys. Guys and girls, okay? It's not about hopping onto the trend. It's about being able to adapt when it needs to happen. Okay? Need to adapt, alright? So, for example, my body's thirsty right now. I gotta adapt, alright?
Bruh. Look at this dude.
And hey, stop looking at my thermos, alright? It's a thermos. Okay? Jeez.
What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Ooh, that's good. A little drink break. Oops. Anyway, you have to adapt, right? Financial things, with the world changing in technology, with the world changing in marketing strategies, you have to adapt. If you do not adapt, you will die. You've known this since getting out of school. You've known this since being in school. When you were 5, you realized that you couldn't be the dude who was cussing at people. You couldn't be the kid who was going over there saying stupid crap. You gotta have some kind of social order, right? It doesn't matter what other people think, but truthfully, if it doesn't matter, then why would it matter? Ooh, that got deep for a second. But that's the truth. But the hardest point I gotta get to is for you to go through all the things that you've gone through in your life and not want to change. You're only doing bad to yourself. Look how much stuff you've gone through, and to say, hey, I don't want to change. I don't want to adapt. Excuse me. I don't want to adapt. Well, then what are you going to do? You're only limiting yourself. What is not adapting do to anybody else? The only people you're really affecting are yourself. And if you're not affecting yourself, you know who else you're affecting? You're affecting your loved ones. You're affecting your family. You're affecting everybody else. Okay? And in rare scenarios, sometimes that case can be good. Okay? Depending on your beliefs. Depending on how your family moves. Depending on what you do. Depending on what you follow. Depending on what you're influenced by, okay? For example, I touched up on the Oriental stuff. Just like I'm going to touch up on when those families are doing, I forget the name for it. But in like Pennsylvania, where they still have people who live in the olden times, still do stuff handmade. I forget the word, but it might pop up in my head. Point is I'm trying to give you guys a lesson here, okay? You have to adapt. Okay, you have to adapt. Certain scenarios, those specific scenarios, it's okay. Because if it's going to run in your family anyway, let it do it. But You are putting yourself at risk. If you don't care about money, okay, fine. If you don't care about success, fine. If you don't care about giving your family the best possibility of chance of living financially free, or forget financially free, if you just don't want to be free in general, well then okay, fine. Those scenarios don't count for you. Throw them out the window. But you know, in your heart, that being able to go through all of what you've gone through in your life and saying that you are not mature enough to know that you want to change. Okay? Because I'll tell you something. This is a video for a whole nother day. I bet you guys love hearing me say that. But look, your identity is no longer you as a child. Okay? Now this is something I've said in 1,000 motivational speeches to other people. I might have said it already on YouTube. But if not, I'm going to say it again. Well, I'm going to say it for the first time. And that is this. Psychologically, if you are still in this phase of not being able to grow up, or being depressed because you aren't achieving the things that you want to achieve, this is only happening because psychologically in your mind, you keep judging yourself from when you were 7 years old, 6 years old, 3 years old. Like I said, this is another video for a whole nother day, and I will get to that. But you need to do like a phone and update it, or else you are not adapting, and you are you're not giving yourself the best possible chance at living a fulfilled life. Now, fulfilled life is defined by you. But I'm just telling you, you get a better chance if you're able to adapt with everybody else, or adapt on your own. Sometimes adaptability doesn't mean adapting with everybody else. Sometimes, believe it or not, it actually means quite the opposite. Sometimes adaptability can sometimes mean that you're going against the crowd. For example, trying to get attention, sticking out of the crowd. Sometimes it means realizing that you need to make this invention. Sometimes it means, hey, you need to use your weapon like this. Sometimes it means, ooh, hot, stir around. Ooh, I noticed that when I rub these two sticks together, fire burst. The point is, sometimes it's the idea that nobody has that grows into what people have to adapt to. Sometimes you might be the person who gives us our new adaptability. Think about that for a sec. For me to be the same as I was before would be an absolute disgrace to all the things that I've been through. And that is the truth. Don't go through life and don't go through all these hard things and don't be a child and don't do all these things to then go into adulthood and not be able to adapt. You're not giving yourself the most crucial thing to survive, and that is to adapt. Many people, when they get out of school, they're still children. And I understand this. Okay, it's normal. You know, you have a life. But know the difference between being mature and being childish. Or playing around and being childish.
Bruh.
Adapt or die. Okay? You have to adapt to this ever-changing world. You have to. Okay? If you are clicking on this video and you've gotten this far, you know dang well that something inside you is saying that I need to do this. I have the ambition to do this. I want to start this. I want to begin to do this. Well, look. Just do it. Just do it. The only thing stopping you from being the best version of yourself tomorrow is, well, believe it or not, is you today. Something to think about.